Hey guys, my name is Kendrick and welcome to ENFP Mail. Today I get to interview Melissa. So Melissa, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So Melissa, you are an INTJ, but what kind of INTJ are you?
A rather extroverted version of an INTJ. So a double feminine and then blast, play, consume, sleep.
And when you got your type back, what did you think and how did you feel?
I scrolled down to the bottom, of course, at first, and I saw, okay, INTJ, good. They got it right, because that's what I thought I was.
Yeah.
And then, so I got it back. They used to do like a 45-minute recording, like video. And we had already met in person several times, or a couple times, like at meetups. So they not only had my videos for help in typing me, but they had been around me. We had, spent enough time in person. And yeah, it was, I was really surprised that I was sleep last. Because the way I pictured sleep last was like Shannon would talk about running themselves off a cliff. So I was picturing more literally adventurous people. And I'm not adventurous at all.
So you felt like if you were sleep last, you would be like an adventurous kind of person. But
yeah, or like crazy or not have any idea what my priorities were. And I feel like I know what, I've got masculine FI and masculine NI. And so I feel like my sleep maybe feels pretty strong to me, I think. But over time, I've started to realize, okay, they're completely, absolutely right. And completely, absolutely the problems I face are a sleep last.
Yeah, but you have double masculine sleep too, right? So that's kind of interesting.
Yes.
So you're aware of it, even though it's your...
Yes. Yeah, I thought I was sleep first. So yeah, very aware of it.
So before we continue on, this is just a random thing that I just noticed. So I just thought I'll bring it up. But did you watch the movie Jurassic World?
No.
You haven't seen Jurassic World? Like Jurassic...
I'm not that high on consume.
Okay. But you know the movie Jurassic Park, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in Jurassic World, there's one of the female main character. She's probably an INTJ. Like she even... And the reason why I bring it up is like in a movie she has like the same haircut as you right now, and like it's... So I just thought it's like a weird connection. I just like kind of pieced together, and like the way she was acting in the movie, she was like very like efficient, like let's get to work, and it was very like stereotypical like INTJ kind of like behavior. And then like
you've been following me around. I knew they were following me around doing research on me. Terrible.
So yeah, I just random observation. But hey, anyways, let's go back to Op. So you are supposedly the most extroverted INTJ type. Obviously the only way you could even be more extroverted is if you were double masculine. So how did you feel about that? Like knowing that you're like a really extroverted INTJ.
I have always known that in the type community, people looked at me a little funny when I said I was an INTJ.
Yeah.
But people have said, people have thought I was an ENTJ. Someone thought I was an ENFJ, which is hilarious. I've gotten ENFP several times. So it didn't surprise me that I would be on the extroverted side. And always when people have typed me as more of an extrovert, said, oh, you're an ENTJ. I'm like, I am not. Like, I'm so stubborn about that.
Yeah.
But so I was just glad that I was right about INTJ, because I've studied this for so many years. And so that would have been even more of a shock, to find out I was something else.
So for you, like the animal stack and the sexual modalities, that wouldn't have been as big of a shock as if you did not get INTJ, like if you got something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think if I would have gotten something else, I don't know what would have happened. I might have stuck with it because it was really hard for me to accept missing sleep. I thought I was missing consume. So it was hard for me to accept it. Like when I got my results back, I probably spent about a week really feeling like that like sinking feeling, like a sinking, sad feeling. Like it's hard to explain it, but like I was walking in a fog the whole week. Like I just felt sad. Felt like I was in a sad world. Like everything I looked at, I'd be like, that's my fault. The curtains are crooked in my living room because it's my fault. Everything's my fault. Like I just felt so overly responsible for everything. It was really, yeah, it really kind of just shook me. I think part of it is like I'm as a blast play type person, I'm used to getting more positive feedback from the tribe.
Yes.
For like, good job. You did great on that piano piece you just played, or you got an A+. Those kinds of things are, you know, I guess it's something I seek after. I wouldn't have admitted it before this, but I'm like, yeah, I guess I care about the tribe validation. And so hearing from Dave and Shannon, that's not their job. Their job isn't to be like, you're awesome and amazing and special. Yay. You know, tell you your flaws, and they do the patterns and, you know, the tidal waves that are coming your way. So
yeah,
it was really hard to get used to at first. It was really hard, but so what? It's been really helpful too.
So it sounded to me that like what you felt was like almost like, I don't know, like loss of a loved one, or like someone died, you know, like it was like you were mourning.
Yes.
Almost. Like
yes, exactly, very much. Like I was kind of mourning for my own reputation for myself, you know, my own view of myself.
But you still got INTJ in the end though. So I mean, so what part of it that were you mourning about? Like, is it the fact that you were sleepless? You know, that's kind of, is that what you're mourning about, or?
Yes, kind of, because I felt like what they were saying is you're not even aware of your priorities. You don't even know what direction you're going. You don't even know how to steer the ship. And I have a husband and 4 children. And so the thought that I'm leading my family, I'm just like some chaotic, total mess, just dragging my family along with me and spreading chaos wherever I go, and that I didn't have like a good direction for my life. Like, to me, that's, but if you would have asked me, well, maybe even now, but like a year ago, before I got my results back, it would have been, if someone said like, how are you at like prioritizing? I'd say that's one of the things I'm the best at. Prioritizing, discipline, control, like that's who I am. And so having them say, man, you're just like racing through the city and everything behind you is crashing down around you. I was like, what? Really? But yeah, in retrospect, yeah.
So wait a minute. So you're saying that part of having sleep is being good at prioritizing.
Yep.
Can you talk about that a bit? Because there was a recent video that Dave and Shan released on the Q&A in their class, and the question that they put there was actually my question, and then so Dave kind of like, you know, did a little jab at me, right? He's like, well, Kendrick, this is one of your weakness, which is prioritization, one of your demons, right? And I was thinking, I was like, what? Like, what does he mean by that, right? Because like I've always felt like I was okay at prioritization. I'm not the best. I wouldn't say I'm the best, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm really bad at it either. So when he said that, I was like sitting there, I was kind of thinking about it. I was like, what does he mean by that? But then now you're talking about like sleep class, and they think I have sleep class, right? I just submitted my official typing actually. So can you talk about that? Like, how are you not prioritizing properly but you think you are? So talk about that.
Yeah, I have thought I was.
Yeah.
But so, because you're giving me a chance to blast, Kendrick, and I really appreciate that, since I'm
of course, the floor is yours.
So FI is all about what's important to me, just me, what's important to me. And so basically by having that as your last function, and then NI, you know, your known patterns, your known information, it's going to be like I'm going to be looking out for my future. I'm going to be looking out for how am I going to be doing in 5 minutes, 5 years, 50 years. And that's supposed to be like the INTJ gift,
You're right.
But so but like on a regular daily basis, the tribe is really what's dragging me around. Not even the tribe, but like achieving things like in a TE way, because so my TE is, doubled down on in my first 2 animals, because blast and play. So I've got a lot of TE going on. So it's like really what's happening is the tribe's priorities for what makes you a good mom, or what makes, having my house really clean and making sure like I have makeup on and I'm all together. And when my kids go out in public, they don't embarrass us by acting crazy, and making sure that, I don't mess up if I'm a professional pianist. So if I'm like playing piano, I don't make a mistake. Like achievements are dragging me around.
Right.
Rather than what I care about dragging me around. So it's like, what does the tribe care about right now? That's dragging me around. So when someone asks me to do something and I'm like, sure, yes, I can do it. Yes, no trouble at all. Of course. And I show up looking put together, and I left behind me like my kids being like, mom, and like it's a big mess and the kitchen's a disaster. And then after I show up for something and I'm so have it together, I'm going to go home to that messy, crazy kitchen and to kids who are all over the place because I didn't give them the attention they needed. But I say my priority is my family. And I say my priority is my having a peaceful home life. But then I leave my home life crazy for the tribe's sake, or, for achievement for the tribe. So I've really noticed that the last year. And what's really hard is I've noticed it and I feel a little bit like, but now I like solving problems now. I like solving problems like yesterday. So this isn't an easy one to solve. And normally I'm good at achieving things, but this one's really hard to achieve for me, is to know what things to eliminate. Slow down.
I felt like when you said earlier, like, you go outside and you're pursuing all these achievements for the tribe's sake, like you're doing what the tribe kind of expects you to be like in order to have the image of success, and also to perform, in a level where you're portraying success. It's almost like when you said that, I felt like when you said you left your home behind in a mess, I feel like you didn't just leave your home as a mess, you also left yourself at home.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that resonated with you, but like
totally.
But yeah. What have you done since then, like to kind of like bring yourself with you when you go out,
Yeah.
So it's not about the image anymore. It's more like it's the image plus you, like
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking baby steps, like small steps, because it's not like, I feel like my TE is in line with my FI most of the time. I'm not going to go out and just be crazy and do something that's wildly against my values ever. Like I'm very loyal to my set of beliefs. But for example, I love working in my garden. I love it so much. It feels really challenging to be raising children as an INTJ, like for about 1 trillion reasons. But I feel like I don't have they came with their own personalities and their own wiring. And so I don't get to control every little thing about them, which I shouldn't be able to, but it feels like I want to sometimes. But in a garden, I have so much control. Like I just feel like I step outside, and as soon as the first breeze comes to me, I'm just like, oh, I just feel peaceful when I'm there. But if I'm outside for even just a few minutes working in my garden, I feel this like guilty, like anxiety.
Yeah.
I always, that feeling, like the sleep last kind of feelings. This is how I think of it. Like there's just always like, but I could be doing this, but I should be doing that. But am I being productive? And so I feel this like inner, yeah. And like, what are each one of my kids doing? What's my husband doing? Is the phone going to ring? Am I supposed to be somewhere? Should I be working on this other thing? But just realizing that there are people who, if I was sleep consumed, maybe, I might feel great about just working in my garden all day long. If that's something that I value. I have a brother who I think is sleep consumed, and he'll just walk around his property for like hours a day and not feel bad. But I feel very guilty and very like just anxious if I'm doing something just because I want to. And it's that part of values. It's like valuing my own will, valuing what I feel like doing. I would have always in the past just said, well, that's lazy. Like, I don't value laziness, but like my will is connected to not doing things that have to do with the tribe sometimes. Like sometimes it literally is just okay to sit on the back porch because I want to. And that's never been okay with me before.
So you feel anxious and guilty about relaxing, just lingering around doing nothing. Like there's like a part of you that wants to be productive, right? And then you feel like doing this, gardening and just meandering around is kind of like, it's like a waste of time, like almost inefficient. And and like, but even though the truth is that's actually what you should do, because you're resting, you're recharging your battery, right? But it's like a weird contradiction almost, like I need to do this to be productive, but there's a part of me that feels like it's not productive. Does that sound about right?
Totally. And yet it does feel productive to answer somebody's question on Facebook in a big group that's a typology group, and I spend a lot of time writing a nice little paragraph, even if 20 other people are also going to comment. That's not a waste of time. I was being productive, and the tribe, I'm doing something for the tribe. I'm doing something for other people. That's important.
Yeah.
But just I will. And so I've started actually, because my husband is wonderfully supportive and he knows I'm working on this. And I will say to him sometimes, I will voice my anxieties, which in the past they were almost so subtle I didn't even know they were there. Yeah. But I will say out loud, does it mean that I'm a selfish person if I go out in the garden and I spend a whole hour out there and I just kind of putter around? Is that selfish of me? And he bursts out laughing. He'll be like, you've got to be kidding me. With everything that you've done today, you think that's selfish? Not at all. And, he gives me a nice reality check there.
Yeah. That is like the best, hands on the best description of sleep I've ever heard. That's really good.
Really good.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because I resonated with what you said. Like I have a sleep class, right? But I like for me, my relaxation, it's not gardening, but
sure.
But I will kill myself to keep being productive when in fact I should be relaxing, because I feel like I don't feel like, it's not like I'm doing it to serve the tribe per se. It's more like I feel like life is getting way ahead of me, and if I don't keep working, then I'm gonna fall behind and I won't be able to achieve or hit my goals. Like I'll be old by then and I won't be able to enjoy my life, which is kind of contradictory, right? Like, because you can take the moments now to enjoy your life, but it's a little bit
I feel like I've been waiting since I was a child for that moment when my house is clean, everyone's happy, and it's that one perfect golden time of the evening, and I'm outside and everything is just, the bills are all paid, our life insurance policy and our will, and everything is set in order, all these things that I'm terrible at.
Yes.
Now when all that's done, I'll be like, ding, I'm happy.
And you can relax.
So far, we're not there quite yet, but any day now, it's just magically going to happen.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you're taking those baby steps, because I think that's all you've got, right? At the end of the day, like you don't, like that day that you're looking forward to, I'm pretty sure when you actually get there, it's not going to be what you're picturing in your head, right? It's going to be something else. So it's almost like, I don't know what, Tim Ferriss, I don't know if you, obviously you know him because he's an INTJ, but he talked about doing a mini retirement. I don't know if you've heard of that concept. But he said that a lot of people they save up all their life, saving money, preparing for this grand retirement plan, or going sailing out in the ocean or whatever. And then when they get there and they do it and they hate it because whatever they envisioned wasn't reality, right? Kind of like you need to test drive that retirement first, now, because you need to know if whatever you're working so hard right now for is actually worth it when you get there. Because maybe you'll hate it and you're like, oh my God, I just wasted my time. And that's the biggest inefficiency, that could possibly happen, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And even the things that I feel like, ooh, that was really enjoyable, something that I did as a reward for me, like on my birthday, or a day that I'm like, yeah, today I'm going to do something that I want to do. It's usually I'm going to use up all these gift cards that I've accumulated over time for different stores that I love shopping at. And so it's, we get a babysitter, we go to a whole bunch of stores all in one night and cram it in. And then we go on a really brisk walk around the neighborhood, a really big neighborhood that we've never been before.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm play consuming there, right? And so it's still so active. It's such active busyness. And yet I think the ideal is, yes, as soon as I get this stuff all done, every neighborhood walked through, every gift card spent, everything.
Yes.
Just sit on my front porch. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's so easy too. Like you can just go outside right now and sit in your front porch because you can literally do that anytime, right?
Yeah, supposedly.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I still even remember, I was like legendary throughout the extended family and beyond as a baby because I was so hyper. I was so just hair trigger every second.
Yeah.
And I would jump in my little Johnny jumper thing that you hang in the door and, the baby puts their legs through and jumps. I would do that for hours and hours and hours and hours. And then I'd fall asleep because I couldn't fall asleep anywhere else.
Yeah.
No one could put me in a crib, make me sleep. And even like as a kid, I'd be watching the Brady Bunch because I love to come home and watch that. And I would take notes on it because it felt more useful if you're taking notes. You can't just watch a show. It was really extreme. Always been that way.
Did you get into sports also since you're very active?
No, dance.
Dancing?
Yes. Dance, music, theater, that stuff.
Okay. Well, that still kind of counts. It's it's more artistic. And that's also interesting too because, they always make that stereotype that INTJs are robots, right? But then you could totally be artistic and be into the art.
I feel like that is ridiculous. That's one of the most ridiculous stereotypes I've ever heard. I've seen it over and over, but I have so I trained, I got certified and now work for Personality Hacker. And in one of the ways they teach us to profile is like ask questions and get to know someone in a conversation. And then by the end of an hour and a half, something like that, you can give them an idea of what their type probably is and give them some advice and things. And I've profiled, almost 700 people using their method, and I have them all, in notebooks and things. And one of the things I found over and over with INTJs, and in fact, one of the questions I use as I confirm that, if I think someone's an INTJ and I'm trying to confirm it, I always ask them, are you kind of a robot or more of a sensitive type? They're all sensitive, or at least the ones I interview are usually very sensitive, sensitive to different things, but definitely that inner emotional world is on the radar. And on the outside, we want to look like put together. I don't want someone to see me, like, heaven forbid, like see me cry or see me like, oh, I forgot my keys or something. Like, ugh, that would be awful. But on the inside, I feel like I'm constantly emotional, constantly sensitive and artistic. That's how I identify.
Oh, that's so interesting. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about your masculine NI, and I was talking to your fellow INTJs like Austin, and he was saying like you kind of bulldoze through the maze when you get into that zone where you're focused and you're working. And then I was talking to another INTJ, and she said that when sometimes you forget your own body when you get in that like masculine NI mode. So like I can see that even being worse for someone that has sleep last, right? Because like you go in a massive like bulldozing spree to be productive, and then you completely forget about your body. Can you talk about your experience with that?
Oh yeah, totally. So a lot of times if I'm in a situation with other people at all, I'm like a social event or a work event or something like that, I'll get home and I will have the most horrible headache, and I'll realize like I'm so dehydrated. Like I'm massively dehydrated because I just forget to drink. Yeah. I have plenty of opportunity. There's a lot of water in this world, but I forget to drink anything. Or I will sit and talk to somebody in a hard chair for hours if it's a really interesting conversation. I have a friend who came and visited me from Germany a couple of years ago, and we just sat at my kitchen table and talked and talked and talked and talked and talked, and then got up, and I was just numb. The whole lower half of me was just numb. I had no idea that kind of thing happens quite frequently.
Oh my God, that masculine NI is it's like a double-edged sword, you know, like it's really good for getting things done, but then your body falls apart as a result, you know.
Yep.
Have you ever gotten like, any health issues as a result of that, like masculine NI?
Actually not. I've had really, really good health and I think I just have good genetics, and also I'm a distance runner. So yeah, so a lot of times, so I run, 4 or 5 at least days a week. And that really, really, it just brings up that body awareness, I think, just so that it's on my radar, like, oh, my ankle kind of hurts, or, I'm standing crooked, or it's really, really been helpful since I discovered that in my life.
And do you eat pretty healthy too, in general?
Yeah. Yep, I do, but I have certain things that like kind of my philosophy is like, you can only eat so much and be at the, within a healthy weight range, especially like in America, we have so much unhealthy food available that's so calorically dense, that's so good to taste so good.
Yeah.
So I eat a really boring diet because I just want to eat the foods that I love. I don't want to eat anything that I just like. So I eat like very similar things to the time, and I always have. But if it's something like, the best German chocolate cake ever, I'll eat that. Like I'll have the same thing every single year for my birthday. If I need a treat, I go to the exact same places because I'm like, why would I go to the second best place? If I already know the best place, I'm just going to go to the best place over and over.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I somewhat eat healthy, but I still have to have my fancy chocolates every day.
So that's your thing, is chocolates. Chocolates your thing.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about your feminine TE. Like, so as having feminine TE, do you feel like you're kind of submissive to the tribe as a result of having that? Like sometimes there's a part of you that disagree with what they're saying, but you almost feel like obligated to agree with them just because it's feminine TE. What's your experience?
Yeah, mentally I don't feel like I have to agree with them necessarily, but I smile and go right along with it. But on the other hand, yes, in certain things, like for example, we're working on our garage lately, thanks to Dave and Shannon's advice. They talk about like going through that agony and misery and cleaning out the garage step by step. I've been working on that, and we were trying to figure out which kind of shelves to get. And this is like the most boring thing for me to think about in the whole wide world. But I also know that it's going to drive me nuts if we get the wrong kind of shelving, and they're expensive, and my husband's going to mount them carefully on the wall. So he came up with what he thought was the best kind of shelf. He showed me, and I was like, I don't think I want that. I don't like the wire shelves. I want a wooden shelf. And I started explaining why I think that's what I want. And then I said, wait, let me research it. I get on Amazon, I get on Home Depot, I look at Costco, all these places, and look at the kind of shelves people like, and they're all like wire. I'm like, oh, yeah, I want a wire one. That's good. Like my mind just goes, whoo! As soon as I see that everyone thinks the wire ones are better, I'm like, yeah, sure, that's what I want. Like what? I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to be dumb. And so I want to take everyone's knowledge into account, kind of average it all together and say, wire. Okay, sounds good. Like I don't trust myself to be so smart that just my idea is worth doing.
So originally your FI wanted a wooden shelf, but then when you did your research, turns out everyone wants the wire one. So you're like, okay, you know what? Let's go with what the tribe thinks is best.
Yes. And it has nothing to do with, so the tribe will like me, or so the tribe will think I'm smart. It's like, they know what works best. Like, why would I take just one opinion from one person? It's better for thousands of reviews to help me. Then I'm like, whoa, that's totally the way to go.
So what did your husband say? Because like that was his idea to begin with, and then you're like, and you kind of like contradicted him at first, and then you kind of.
My poor husband. Oh, he's a poor thing. He's an ESFJ. He is same animals as Shannon. So he's play, consume, sleep, blast. Yeah. And so that was not a pleasant thing to have me take his idea that he'd worked very hard on.
Yeah.
That TI and be like, nah, I don't think I did that. And then when I came back to his idea. I think he was just exhausted from dealing with me by then, but he's out right now buying wire shelves. So
yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but that feminine TE also, it means that, for example, if I'm typing someone for the class and I'm talking to, so the my typing partner is masculine TI first, so TI SE, and he's always like I'll say, I think this person's this type, and then he'll say, I think it's this type, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's true, that makes sense. And he's like, what? Why did you just give up your ideas so quick? I'm like, well, your idea was better. Like, I just have a very fluid relationship with what's the smartest thing to do. Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? And I don't really get overly attached to any one if it's smarter. Like, I just want to do the smart thing.
I think the masculine TI partner of yours, he wanted to argue with you because that's what they like to do, right? So you kind of let him down, I think, like giving up so easily.
Probably so. I feel terrible.
Yeah. But then, like, I think us TE users, we don't really care about that. So we just want what's effective, right?
Totally. Absolutely.
Like, well, if you already thought it out and it sounds right, then let's go with it. Who cares? Like, let's not waste time like arguing about this stuff, right?
Totally. Why would I stick to my one dumb idea? If it's not a good idea, it can. Yeah, totally.
Now let's go to the big one now, the SE, the feminine SE. So, how much tidal waves have you encountered in your life for having that like fourth function, feminine SE? That like it doesn't get worse than that, right? Like feminine SE and it's fourth function. So
yeah. Well, so first of all, I don't feel like I relate at all to the not remembering things.
Yeah.
Like I have a really good memory, but Dave and Shannon have helped me see that it's actually more of a good memory for patterns. It's a really masculine NI. So it's a NI. I use my NI and I use my visualization and things like that to remember things. So so that part of it, I don't really like. If you ask me, what did you get for Christmas 5 years ago? I could reconstruct it. I would have to look at a lot of other things first, but I'd eventually be able to figure it out and remember it based on the context of other things. But the part of like everyday life, oh, I'm terrible. I am awful. So I'm always between 4 and 7 minutes late everywhere, every time. And I go the same places all the time. So you'd think I would figure this out. I don't figure it out. It's awful. And it's partly being, higher play and sleep last. But I always lose something or forget something on the way out the door. And I have to drive back home and get it again. Or I can't find my keys. I can't find my keys anywhere. I mean, we finally had to get a van that doesn't use the same kind of keys. So like the keyless kind, it's so much better. But I'm always, where's my shoes? I can't find my shoes. I mean, my poor children. Like I'll be like, they're all hooked into the van, ready to go. And I come out and I'm like, guys, has anyone, and then they'll come inside, help me look around to find something and then go again. It's really embarrassing and awful. And it just keeps happening. It happens to me. It's not my fault. Okay, it's my fault. So it's that tidal wave it's real. I mean, I leave groceries at the store. Like I've left a whole bag of ice cream in a shopping cart, things like that all the time. And I've noticed also as I've been studying SI, and that's one of the things that's helped me a lot in the like typing people, is to look at if they break things apart, like Tiger Woods, talking about, I did this, and he could have just said, I walked through the golf course, but he has to like list every little thing. I've realized I do that with the sensory, where I cram it all into one. I blur it all together, and it's just sort of one big blurry thing. And, like my husband will say, how was your day? And I'll be like, chaotic. And that's like, I don't have like a list of things. It's hard for me to even think back to what happened during the day. Very hard to figure that out. But I just remember the pattern of the day it was chaotic for me.
Yeah.
So I just default back to that masculine NI again and find the one word answer that represents all the sensory. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. First of all, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because like me and my girlfriend, we're both ENFPs. So my girlfriend is always losing her stuff and she freaks out. Like she'll lose like her wallet and then like she'll be like tearing apart our apartment looking for it, or she'll lose her passport, or like she's always losing things. My sister too is an ENFP and she's always losing things. Like she went to the passport office a few days ago and she was missing so much documents, you know, and then, you know, like she wasn't looking, she didn't look carefully at the checklist of what documents to bring, right? Like she skimmed through it because, you know, she didn't want to go line by line by line by line by line, right? Because it was so painful to do something like that. So that's kind of interesting. And I think it's kind of fascinating too with you with like the NI, you know, the masculine NI. Like you said you lump everything as like one big thing. Like you have one answer for like everything, right? Like,
Yep.
And like I've always kind of like whenever I talk to INTJs and they give me like a tip, and I'm thinking to myself, you can't have one answer for everything. Like that's kind of like what I'm thinking, right? Because I'm thinking there's a customized answer for everything. But then I think for efficiency's sake, I think that one answer to everything, it's more efficient because then you don't waste time customizing the small little details, right? That, or maybe you're avoiding it. I don't know. Like, you know, like, in your experience though, having that one answer for a lot of things, has that been more good than bad?
Yeah. It's my savior function. It's wonderful. It's the best thing ever.
And it solved a lot of your problems, no problem. Like you didn't get any like tidal waves with SE as a result of like just dumping that like one answer for everything.
Oh, yeah, I probably do have those. I mean, my one answer for everything doesn't help me when it's time to find my keys, and doesn't help me when it's time. Like the problem is I don't care enough about the physical world to have like one answer for everything.
Yeah.
About how to store my construction paper in the garage. Like who cares? So annoying. So, but even then, so like even working out in the garage, I've figured out my NI, my pattern that I care about, which is like, if I have a pile of stuff and I'm trying to decide what to keep, I just ask myself, what do I want more? Do I want this possession, or do I want the sparse, beautiful, clean garage? And there's some things that I'm like, no, I'd give up a clean garage because I love this one item so much. And I keep that. But the rest of it, I get rid of. And it's been amazing to, like, this is the first time I've ever finally figured out that that's the vision I need to have to actually get rid of a lot of stuff. And I've been doing it. So again, like that masculine NI having one pattern, it's the same question. Every item gets the same question. I don't dilly-dally with that. And it helps. I mean, I think it really helps me reach my goals really, really well.
I think there are times in life where you do need to do that, like have that one question, you know?
Like every time, Kendrick, every time.
Yeah.
Question, NI.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a double decider question now. So this is, there's a positive side to it, and there's also like I won't say negative, but let's start with positive first. So as a double decider, the stereotype is you have a relative balance between self and tribe. Sounds about right to you?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's never been an issue for you. People's kind of like easy, like kind of like in general, like even if something bad happens, you can, you know, eventually fix it. It's not like a huge. Yeah. Now moving on to the next thing, double deciders, according to David Chan, have problems with fear. And for you, the fear comes from the SE, right? So chaos. Can you talk about your fear of chaos? And
oh yeah. Yeah. Sure. Basically, every moment there's part of my brain and like my whole system, like I'm just high strung. There's a part of my whole system that's like poised for something very bad to happen all the time. And so it's not that I expect something bad to happen all the time and I'm thinking, this is a terrible world. Like I'm not being gloomy like that. It's just like when I go running, everywhere I go, if there's a bush, I'm like, oh, there might be a really bad guy trying to kill me behind that bush the whole time. Like not just late at night, like anytime I'm anywhere and I pass a person, I'm thinking, oh, as I'm running by that guy, how quickly could he pull out a knife and stab me behind my back? Could he catch up with me? Would I hear him first? I don't know. Or if one of my children gives me a flower that they picked in a meadow, I automatically am thinking like, oh, is that nightshade? Is that poisonous? Oh, could that kill me? I don't know. So it's like, just, I have a hyper alertness, like sensory stuff. What? Like even food, like trying a new food. I mean, that happens like once a decade, maybe. And we're talking about new food, like, the fudge with nuts instead of the fudge without, like, woo, I really went out of my comfort zone there and, tried a new. It's like, it's terrifying. Like, yeah, especially like sensory things that are put upon me, like noise, background noise. My air conditioner turning off and on, even through this interview, is driving me nuts. That itches a little too much, or a dog barking outside, or if I like run into a counter, I think like, that is the stupidest counter ever. We have to get rid of that. We need to move. We're moving. I hate that counter. It's the same height as my hip, and I just ran into it, and it's awful. It's like the sensory world is like out to get me. And at any time, like right now, if we had a big catastrophic earthquake that destroyed my whole state, I'd be like, yeah, I thought so. I wouldn't even freak out. Like, I'm actually more anxious that it hasn't happened yet. I'm like, okay, when is the earthquake? When's the big one? It's supposed to come sometime. Come on.
Do you live in the West Coast?
Yeah.
In San Francisco, or where do you live?
Oregon and Portland area.
Oh, that's how you've met Dave and Shan, because you live in the
yeah.
States. I see. Okay. Yeah, because I live in the West Coast too, right? So the San Andreas fault is like near us, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna the big one is gonna come soon, right? It's already been totally. It's long overdue, right? So
yeah, exactly. So I'm waiting. I'm ready, but I don't have all my emergency supplies. You'd think I would, but I don't. But I do know it's coming any second now. So it just feels like the sensory world is it's there to make me motion sick. It's there to fall on me. It's there to, like, it feels like it's all, every dog that I ever pass is going to lunge out and bite me for sure. Yeah.
So it's like things really freak you out, eh?
They're terrible.
Oh my God, that's so fascinating.
Yeah. People, I feel like I can predict them well enough. I can, even if someone's kind of a jerk and they're going to be mean to me, I already knew that was a possibility before.
And you're like, whatever.
Yeah. I can get over that, or I can be like hurt by it for a couple of days and be like, I don't like you anyway. I'll figure it out. But yeah, of things, and it never ends. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how clean my garage is. In a few days, I'm going to go out there and someone will have left the refrigerator door open and everything will be melted. Or so, like the garage door, it's going to break. Or I'll like start backing my van out and it'll run into the garage door because I forgot to open it. Yeah, that's happened. So things like that, it's like there's no way to stop it. It's inevitable that it's out to get me.
That's so crazy, but in like a hilarious way. But like, I think for you, it's freaky though.
It's real. It's real.
Yeah. I mean, I can relate a lot, right? Because sensory is also my demon, and like, but mine's control, right? Like with the double decider stuff with people, like I've noticed that IPs and EJs, they're so afraid to like jump in when it comes to like dealing with people. But for me, I'm like, it's fine, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and I did notice that IJs had the same tendency as me, like when it comes to people, they're like, whatever, it's fine, like whatever, like it's not like anyways, this thing is freaking me out, like for you guys it's things out to get you. For me, things out to control me, right? It's like like the government's out to get us, like it's kind of like that kind of. But how do you feel about control? Like when someone's trying to control you, does that bother you, or it doesn't bother you at all? Like it's like because like IJs are known to be the controlling type, like or supposedly like the stereotype, but like I've never really felt an IJ ever try to control me, to be honest. It's always been EJs that I felt who's trying to control me, adhere to like tribe rules, but how does an IJ feel about being controlled?
It's a good question. I mean, first of all, some control is inevitable anyway, so it's like the earthquake. I just shrug it off, like, yeah, I'm paying my taxes. I'm going to go to the DMV and fill out my little thing. It's so stupid. It's so annoying. But if it's got to happen, it's got to happen. Whatever. And being controlled as in told what to do, I mean, that's my choice. So if I put like, there's a certain theater director that I love to work with. And if she wants to control me and say this, like I'm a choreographer also.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing choreography for one of her shows and she tells me I want it this style, I want to use this piece of music, I don't feel controlled. I could just quit. Like, why not just quit and say I won't work for you anymore? But I know that in order to reach my goal, I'm going to have to let her control me. If I want to be a choreographer for this musical, I've got to do it her way because she's in charge. I think some of it too is like I have a very clear idea of who should be in charge and who shouldn't. Like between a choreographer and a director, it's the director. Like that's who's in charge. And so, and then also when I'm the one in charge, I am in charge. Like, and my feminine TE is so feminine and so nice about it. And, you know, if I'm teaching a big group of kids and there's some rabble rousers in the back causing probably EPs, Kendrick, in the back causing problems.
Yeah, my people.
The people are in the back. The way I must control them. Like I must. But I figured out ways to do it so they don't feel as controlled. So that they don't, you know, I would never say, you naughty boys, sit down and be quiet.
Yeah.
Around that.
That was really good.
The result is the same. The result's going to be the same thing. They are going to be in control if they're in my group and I'm in charge of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, control is very natural.
That's so interesting.
Not of a big group, though. Like I'm not looking for control of a big group. I'm just looking for control of whatever I'm doing. So if I'm to be teaching a song to a big group, the teaching of the song must go well. And so therefore I must control them. Like I don't feel like I have like a desire to control people. I just need things to go my way. And if the people are going to keep things from going my way, I'm going to shove them back into my way again because it needs to go my way.
Like you want to make sure you're producing the result. So if someone's getting out of line, you shove them back in line, you know? Like it's not personal.
What?
It's not personal. It's just like, hey,
not personal.
Let's get back in line and we need to get this done. Let's get back in line. You know, it's not right. Like, it's not like, you know, I guess an EJ would be like, no, you're attacking the tribe now, you know, or like, you know.
Yeah. And I've seen it happen where, you know, some teachers that one junior high substitute that you had that time who like ran out crying from the class, like that would never be me. Like I know when people like misbehave, it's not personal toward me.
Yeah.
It's just they wanted to, and I want them to not do that even more than they want that almost all the time. So.
So you would say the substitute teacher that ran out of the room crying is an IP or EJ then?
Probably. Depends why she's crying. If she's crying because of, you know, the bee that's buzzing around the corner.
Oh yeah, that's a different story. Yeah, that's an IJ or EP then. If it's a bee.
Yeah. Right, exactly. But if she's like, you guys aren't even respecting me. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, I used to substitute teacher for middle school for a while. I loved it so much. It was so much fun because it was just a fun challenge. Like people couldn't. They only knew me for a day. How, you know, why would I care what they said about me?
So I work in the fitness industry, and sometimes I have to sub for like an instructor who goes on holiday. Like I have to teach spin, for example.
Yeah.
So I go into the class and I'm like, well, everyone's giving me that look. Like, who the F is this guy? You know, like he's gonna play a different song that we're used to and like have a different drill that we're used to. You know, and they're giving me like a suspicious look, and I'm like, looking at them, I'm like, okay, well, should I try to win their approval? Or am I just here because I'm going to get paid? Like, you know what? I'm probably not going to win their approval. So I'll just do what I can and I'll go take my paycheck and I'll go, you know? And then totally. That's it, right? Because like before I would be like kind of like a little bit intimidated by that. It's like, I already know what's going to happen. Because like, you know, it's always like that. Like, you know, like students have a certain expectation of the teacher, like to teach a certain way, like in a consistent way. Like there's a certain level of consistency they're looking for. And if you're really different from that, then some of them, obviously some people like that too. Like the people who like variety, right? Like I guess the EPs would like that, you know? But anyway, so that's kind of like how I would react to it. But I want to ask you about the IJ box. That's super fascinating to me, right? Can you talk about what is your IJ box? What is that like?
It's a great box. I would never want to leave that box.
Yeah. What is it like?
It's very much like Like if I want to buy a pair of shoes, I'm always going to buy them from these two websites. Like I just go straight there. Like why would I look at a billion websites if I could find the shoes in the right place? Or even more abstractly, like if I have a friend, like I learned a system of discipline when I was teaching called Love and Logic, and I love it with all my heart. It's wonderful. So if I have a friend who is struggling with one of her kids, mentally I just go, oh, she should use Love and Logic. That's the answer for everything. That's the answer for every kid who ever had a problem, is this one system.
Love and Logic?
Yeah, Love and Logic. That's it. Period. And I mean, even like personality typing, like it's like I can't not profile somebody. I can't. Like if I'm watching a show, if I'm talking to somebody, that's where my mind goes. It has one box. It has one direction. That's the direction that it goes. So I'm very like all in on my ideas and on the patterns that I see. And I'm even like when I was in college and I took a physics class, and I'd kind of like skimped out on science in high school a bit. And then I took it in college, and physics was all I thought about. Everywhere I went, I was thinking, Newton's second law as I walk. Interesting. Like I would just apply things that I was learning in my class to every second of my life. And I think the poor people around me, you know, who would have to listen to me, that's all I would talk about. Every conversation, like, oh, we got a new puppy. Really? Interesting. Has he ever rolled a ball? Because I understand about inertia now. It's like, that's all I wanted to talk about. Like, is that one thing. So.
Oh my God, that description is like, I've had coworkers who are INTJs and they keep doing that. I found it so annoying. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, come on, like why do you keep talking about the same thing? You know, like, you know, like, can we talk about something else? Like,
yeah,
like a different topic, you know?
And being blast first, I especially feel like I have to really work on that hard and be like, okay, I've been with my mom now for 2 hours, and now is the first time I'm mentioning personality stuff. I'm doing pretty good this time. You know, like I've held it back. Like when Dave talks about that queued up information that's just ready to come out, that's a real thing. So yeah, it's a lot of holding back. And also the IJ box, like for me, it's keeping me safe from the SE. So it's like a protection. It's like walled in. It's a box to keep me. So if I go to a church dinner and someone brought us weird, gross, cold, slimy pasta salad with flecks of things in it.
Yeah.
That's not in my IJ box. But the snickerdoodle cookies that I know are from Great Harvest, and I know it's down the street, and I know who brought it, so I know they didn't get any germs on it because they're the sanitary type of people, and there's like little napkins there. I'm like, okay, that's in my IJ box. I can have one of those, but I'm not going to have that slimy, weird pasta salad. Who knows where that came from? Who knows who brought it? You know, there's like, they could have like some kind of weird disease, or there could be a hair in it, or they could have like let their kids carry it, or their kids could have sneezed on it, or
yeah.
Don't even get me started. There's so much stuff that could happen to that plate. Yeah, definitely the box feels like it keeps me safe, and it also keeps me safe from wasting time too. I just don't want to experiment too much, because then what happens to my goals? Like they get ignored.
You know, the one thing I find interesting about so you work for personality hacker.
Yeah.
A personality hacker is ran by an ENFP and ENTP, so both lead and E user, right? And then you go with with op, and it's both run by NI users. You know, I don't really know what I'm asking here, but what have you noticed with like the difference in like the approach? You know, because one was built through NE, like a lot of, you know, NE gathering and connecting. One was built with NI building, using known information. You know, have you noticed anything that maybe most people are not aware of, because you're involved in both systems, right? So it's I think that's something that maybe people would be curious about. Like I'm curious, definitely, for sure.
Yeah. Well, initially what comes to mind is just for Dave and Shannon, it's like what is their goal? Anyone who's done anything, seen the Facebook group, seen one class knows, take it to science. That's the goal. The purpose of, and it's great if also we personally experience personal growth and get something out of the classes and the videos and use it in our lives. But really their goal is 10 operators, pass the Op 100, take it to science. That's the goal. And that's where the focus is over and over and over. I think for, somebody running a business as with NE, it would of course be much more like, we have many possibilities for where this could go. Who knows where this will go? And I've heard that many, many, many times in many a business meeting of like, well, and maybe we could, and then someday we might, and who knows this and maybe that. There's so many paths that we could go.
Yeah.
We could have so-and-so come present, or this person, or maybe we could even have a certification in this other idea, and maybe we could all learn this, or maybe we'll go to New Zealand someday, or maybe there's so many excited possibilities. And so if somebody said, what is Personality Hackers' mission? You might get different answers. And I mean, hopefully they would all be very positive, but there wouldn't be one answer. Take it to science. That's the answer. Take it to science.
Does the possibility stress you out when they're doing that stuff?
That's a great question. It doesn't stress me out even a little bit because, well, first of all, I see that one of the reasons there is a company is because the people who run the company are very charismatic and fun and open-minded, and that also serves me well if I have a good idea.
Yeah.
So if I say, I think maybe students would benefit from this, it's very, oh, cool. Sounds like, yeah. Whereas I feel like in objective personality, they're a little bit more like, thanks for the email. We'll let you know. Like,
not.
Yeah. So that openness is great that NE has. Also, though, I think if I was, my role is very defined, like training a group of students in their profiling, and it's a different group, and it's boxed in a little bit in an IJ box.
Yeah.
I think if it was like every single day working with 2 NE users very, very closely, and my whole identity and my future was based on just that, I think that would be challenging. If it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, that would be really hard for me.
So it's because they gave you like your own area to like they gave you an IJ box essentially that you could operate in, and that's fine. That's cool with you and no problem. And yes. it feels like for you it's kind of relaxing to work with the NE user. Like there's a certain easygoing feel to it. Like because maybe if you work with an NI user, it's kind of a little bit more rigid. Hey, you know what? Get in line. Get it back in my box.
Right. But they're not going to try to control me.
Yeah.
The NE users, which is great because I have plenty of control going on in my own way too. So, I'm not looking for more control. So yeah, but it is, it is a nice, I've noticed I tend to be, I have different, my IJ box isn't just one type of friend, but I have noticed I do get quite attracted to EPs as friends.
Yeah.
Because I do enjoy that. I enjoy people who are much more open. The number of times in my life I've been told like, chill out, loosen up, enjoy life, have fun. It's like constantly, I drive everyone crazy by being so uptight. And so being around people who are more open like that and more fun, and they might like break the speed limit sometimes, or, not be as afraid of every little thing. It's fun for me. I like it most of the time. It would make me crazy. I have 2 kids who are EPs. It sometimes does make me crazy when it's like, I have a goal and they're getting in my way.
Yeah. Causing chaos.
Yeah, causing chaos. But just for fun, just if I'm interacting with them, I love.
So when it's playtime, it's fun, but it's work time, it's a nightmare.
It's tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that too with IJs. I've always felt like, okay, I need these people because if I don't get these people's help, like I'm gonna fall off a cliff. Like I just know it. Like I need them to kick me back in a box because like keep focused because I'm gonna fall off a cliff. Like I've always been attracted to like IJ people like as friends or and then like or even mentors because like I've Like, I was like, I need them to kick me back into gear, you know, because I'm gonna fall off the, you know, whatever. But like the cool thing though is like I'm seeing now is that it doesn't matter what your personality is. You can actually succeed regardless of your personality. You know, obviously there's demons that you have to overcome, but if you can overcome them, then that's how you actually succeed, right? Like for me, I realized that SI is actually where all my solution in life is in SI. Like, you know, because I'm launching I'm like I have a travel blog and I'm trying to launch a membership service soon. And I was really thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my God, if I really try to like narrow down what the membership service is, it's SI. It's known facts that I've organized. That's the thing that people are buying from me. It's the known facts that I've organized, that I've gathered and then organized. You know.
Yep.
And that like there's like a part of me that just died when I realized that. You know, like, but it's so true though. That's what it is. Like for you guys, you know, the INTJ, you know, I bet you a lot of your solution is from the SE, you know?
Yep. Just live in the moment. Take a deep breath. Just enjoy yourself. Yeah, I know. It's really hard though.
It's so hard. Yeah. It's like I said, it feels like something, a part of you died when you realize that's the truth, right?
Yeah. And it's not even like, it doesn't even feel like sadness for me. It's almost more like disbelief. Like, well, how can someone do that? You know, like I talked to like an ISFP and they're like, yeah, it'll work out. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? It will work out. What is it going to do to work out? I have to control it so it will work out. You know, it just doesn't feel possible for things to just flow to the right place. So I need to help everything along.
I'm always in awe when I see like double observers so balanced with like, you know, I used to work as a travel blogger for an ENFJ, right? And he would go on a huge rant about Donald Trump. Like he would just absolutely go ballistic about Donald Trump, right? And then he would just lose his mind. But then when it comes to like website stuff, oh my God, he's gathering information and then he's organizing it. He's gathering information, he's organizing it. So smooth, so easy. And like, you know, some kind of chaos happens, no problem. A little bit of a, you know, some organization try to control him, no problem at all. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's going on here? Like, geez.
Yeah, my husband is I said an ESFJ, so he's a double observer.
Yeah.
So going on vacation, we're getting ready to go next week, and leading up to the vacation, like I'm the visionary. I'm like, this is where we need to go as a family, and these are the important things that we need to do, and this is how we're going to make sure that everyone gets their needs met while they're on the trip and their priorities. And he's like, what kind of bag are we going to pack into? What kind of, you know, where are we going to stop for groceries when we get there? And I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to go. And he's like, yeah, but you know, I'm not thinking about the practical things.
Yeah.
He's the one who, you know, is dishing out granola bars to the children and doing all that. Like, he's the one in charge of all those little details. He's so much better at it. And then when we do have like an emergency, something like horrible happens, like somebody gets sick or someone, you know, someone's car sick or something like that. For me, I'm just panicked. And he's like, oh, you'll be okay, sweetie, and takes care of it. And I'm sitting there like
terrifying.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's like I'm like one of the kids. Once I get on a trip, I'm terrible. I'm just such a little rigid. I mean, I'm already like that, but on a trip, I'm even worse.
Where are you guys going for vacation?
We're going to the beach. We're going to the beach with another INTJ. And
which beach? Like in?
Oh, it's Newport in Southern Oregon.
Oh, okay. I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I see.
And I have plenty of ideas for it, and I'm sure they're all going to not exactly turn out the way that I think, and my husband will swoop in and rescue me from all the details.
They'll clean up after you.
Yep.
So I have 2 final questions for you. The first one is, what kind of advice can you give to INTJs that is about to fall apart because they're not, you know, taking care of that SE, you know, like they completely ignored it and went drunk on their NI?
Just chill out, live in the moment. Okay, that's terrible.
I've heard that before, so they're not gonna listen to that.
I know they're not gonna listen to that. I guess it's helped me a lot recently just to remind myself, you know, what Dave and Shannon talk about with the math, but the math shows you that you're being crazy.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I can like watch Elon Musk or somebody who's very extreme in their type and be like, oh, that's crazy. I'm not crazy like that. But like if my computer, like the other night, kind of, it wasn't working and my whole world was falling apart. And I was like, for like a toddler, like really a toddler. I will not even imitate what I did at that point. And just kind of like sitting back and being like, this isn't real. This isn't real. This feels like the biggest emergency in the whole world. The big earthquake wouldn't feel like a big emergency, but this does. Like, I start to realize that's ridiculous. This can't be as big of an emergency as it feels like right now. So I think just literally reminding myself about the math. Like I'm being as crazy as I see some of those other people being right now. And just even saying the words like, it's not real, it's helped me a lot.
Do you think having that double activated SE helps too?
I'm sure it does. I don't relate to things like the Illuminati and thinking that everyone's out to I don't relate to people necessarily being out to get me. Like the faceless person that's hiding behind the bush as I go running is, but yeah.
But that could also be like a woman thing too, right? Because like, you know, like my sister and my girlfriend, like they're always like aware of who's around them, right? Because it's, you know, obviously as a woman, someone can easily hurt you, right? So
yeah. And I'm short too. I'm 5'3", so I'm always like there's no point in even like when my husband goes out of town, there's no point in even locking the doors or having a gun by my bed because I know I'm just toast anyway. If anyone tries to kill me, they can. They'll be really good at it. So
yeah. I had a client before because I work in the fitness industry, and she has a black belt in martial arts, so she can probably kill anyone she wants if she wanted to, but she's still freaked out like walking outside, you know, like someone's gonna get her, you know, like it's just like a weird, you know. So
yeah, so I can save my energy. I don't have to get the black belt now. Good.
Yeah, because then you know it's not gonna help.
It's not gonna help anyway. Yeah. I'm hopeless.
My last question to you is do you have any questions for me in regards to, you know, functions that you don't necessarily have, like NE or SI, you know, or anything that like
sure, or
like what's it like to be on the other side of the coin, I guess.
Yeah. So yes, I think my question would be because I've having so many, being naturally attracted to EPs, because I like EPs so much. I've learned through the years more to be fun and playful instead of like, all right, I just met you, we like each other. Will you please serve cake at my unborn daughter's wedding someday? Like I plan the future together. Like we like each other, we're friends, this is gonna last forever. And I've realized, oh, they don't like that very much. Like it's easy to make an EP feel hemmed in or like, whoa, that's too much. So I guess the question is like, how do you, if someone is going to control you or get you to like be loyal to them, like be their friend for a long time, how would they do that?
I don't, you know, like all my friends are long-term friends actually. So I like a lot of my friends I've known them for 25 years, you know, plus.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, it's a good mix. Like I have EJ friends, IJ friends, you know, IP friends. I find IP friends a little bit more difficult because they tend to ghost people, but and EJ friends tend to be a little bit clingy, which I kind of find a little bit annoying. And then the IJ is a little bit, you know, close-minded, you know, like, I mean, there's something I can say. I mean, there's obviously I have my issues too that that pisses them off, you know, like I'm a little bit uncommitted. And when I was younger, I was unreliable, you know, like, so, you know, as an EP, I try to look at like, what am I doing that pisses people off and how can I do that less, you know? So as an EP, things that I would do that pisses people off would be being unreliable, uncommitted, showing up late to things. Those would be like, I guess the biggest one that would piss people off, right? So how do I solve that? Well, easy. Try to show up on time, but if I'm not going to show up on time, at least give them a heads up, like a way ahead of time. that I'm going to be late. So they're not in the dark that I'm coming late. So that's how I solve that. And then the other one is, how do I stop being unreliable? Well, stop being unreliable. Just like if I say I'm going to do something, I better do it. So I've been doing that really well now, actually, for the last 5 years. So, and then the last one is, what's the other thing that unreliable? Oh, uncommitted, right? So, when I make a plan, we got to commit to this plan. Like, I'm not going to change this plan at all. Like, we're going to stick to this. All right. Stick to this plan, unless for some reason, like, let's say there's like a hurricane there, like we can't go there, for example. Like, okay, that's obviously we need to change that, right? But like, we make a plan and we gotta stick to it. So that's kind of like what I've been working on, because I know those are the things that, as an EP, pisses like friends off, right? So you as an IJ, you have to kind of like think, what do I do that pisses off, EPs or even the other IPs or EJs, all right? Like the first one would probably be like being too close-minded, right? Like, let's stick to this box. Like, that probably pisses them off, right? So, working on your SE, right? Like, this is not like it's SE. For me, being committed is SI. Being reliable is SI, right? This is all SI stuff, right? So for you, it's SE stuff that you need to be more open to using, right?
Yeah.
And like, what kind of reward do you get by doing that? Well, you have better friendship, stronger friendship. You're seen in a better light. You're serving the tribe better, so, it's not a bad thing per se, like.
Yeah. Can you help me understand how can you be uncommitted or flaky or just not show up to things? Like
why we did that? Why EPs do that?
Yeah. How does that even, it's so far from anything I can comprehend. Like,
have your EP's friend done that to you, or like?
I think they're too scared to. No, I mean, I know that they do that. I know that they don't usually do it to me.
But they do it to other people.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like, what are you thinking at the time? Like, when you're like, what are you doing that's making you think, oh, I'm supposed to be here and somebody's expecting me to be here right now, but I'm not going to because I'm like, curing cancer would be a good reason. But like what's a, yeah.
So when one time I went to my high school reunion, and after my high school reunion, I was supposed to go clubbing with a bunch of classmates of mine, and they expected me to come, and I even dressed up for it too. Like, I was dressed up, ready to go to the club, right? But I started picturing what it was going to be like. Like, I have to go take the train there. It's so tedious. And like, once I get there, I have to line up. Then we go inside. We have to dance. We have to like mingle with people. And we have to go like drink alcohol and like yell. Like, woo. I'm like, oh my God, it sounds so exhausting. I don't want to go. Screw it. I'm just going to go flake. And I'll just like, and then I'll purposely like wait like 1 hour later so that I can be like, hey guys, like, I'm already running late, so I'm just gonna stay home, like, and it's like, and and I think it's like maybe the NE, like that thought of like all the stuff that's gonna happen when I get there, that like psychs me out, and I'm like, oh my God, like I have to like, it's like I also have FI, right? So I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a lot of pretentious conversations with like I have to do like nicest, like, what do you call it, like a polite, not polite conversation, but like small talk. Yeah, like I have to do small talk, and I have to pretend I like the other person. I have to have like a fake smile, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to do any of that stuff. Like, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna go. Screw this. And everyone gets mad at me, obviously, because like they expected me to go, right? Like, they're my friends. Like, why did I flake out? Like, that's not cool. So like, what I learned now is like, if I know I'm not going to enjoy going there, I just have to say no, like, ahead of time. Also, like, don't say yes, because EPs have no problem saying yes. We have trouble saying no, right? So
right.
Like, IJs are better at saying no than yes. So like, you guys need to say yes more, and we need to say no more, right? So like, I've been doing that too. It gets people mad, but not as mad as like if I don't flake, like if I don't show up, or I flake, right? Because it's like people say, let's go here. I'm like, you know what? To be honest with you, that doesn't sound fun at all. That sounds horrible. They're like, what do you mean going to the bar and like drinking with your buddies? That sounds horrible. I'm like, yeah, it sounds. I just want to kill myself thinking about that. Like, just to be honest with you, like Like I'm not unless it's a special occasion. I'm not gonna go. Like that's what I'll say now, right? Because I'm older now, like mid-30s now, right? So I've done my fair share of being a jerk when I was younger. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm just gonna go make sure that I cut that before we start. Like I don't want to be that unreliable EP anymore. Like I want to be taken seriously, right? So no one's gonna take me seriously if I'm unreliable. So
yeah, that sounds like sleep energy, right?
What's that?
It sounds like sleep energy. You're saving your energy, like you're taking it out at the beginning.
You're right. Yeah, maybe I discovered it as I got older. You know, like but when I was a kid, when I was younger in my 20s, definitely not. You know, I would overexert myself. Now I'm just like, no, I feel like I'm gonna get drained if I do that. I'm just gonna stay home and do my own thing. You know, I'll go play video games or something. You know,
yeah,
I'd rather do that. Or like if my friends want me to go somewhere and it doesn't sound fun, I'll do like a counter suggestion. You know, that sounds more fun. You know.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, why don't we all just go to the movie and watch a movie, and then we go grab a bite after, and we'll have a chat. You know.
Cool.
You
know? You can like use feminine DE to still. Are you yes. feminine?
Yeah, I have feminine DE. Yes.
Yeah, so you can use that to.
Yeah, I'll just be flowy with it. Like I'll just be flexible, right? It's like, well, I'd like to hang out with you guys. So I'm like FI, right? Like I'd like to hang out with you guys, but I don't want to do that thing. The thing that you guys want to do. That thing sounds horrific to me. You know, like I'm gonna hate my life. Like EJs don't understand that though. They get upset, right? Because for EJs, it's all about like tit for tat, right? It's like, well, you're not doing for you, you're doing for me. You know, it's you know, that's what friends do, right? We support each other. I'm like, yeah, we do, but that thing that you want to do is horrific. No one wants to do that. You know, you know, like for example, like I'm going to my friend's bachelor's party coming up soon, right? And they want to go to a bar, and I'm like, just to be upfront, I'm gonna hate it. Like, I'm only going because it's your bachelor party, but after this, I'm never doing this again, right? And then
I really literally say that to him.
Yeah, I said, well, I mean, like I said, because I try to build long-term friendship, because I noticed that the longer you're friends with someone, the more you can get away with saying things, right? Like yes, like you can just be upfront with them. You don't need to act so polite, because like they know you've known each other for so long. Who cares?
Right.
It's also like a bit of a scam too, because a lot of it's also time constraint. Like maybe you've only met the person like 4 times, but you've known them for 4 years. So it feels like you're closer than you really are. It's really messed up. But like, as long as you've known them for like a long time, like we're talking about like actual like calendar year, then you can get away with saying this stuff. So, you know, I even make a joke, right? Like I'll be the designated driver. They're like, we're walking there, you know, like I'm still the designated driver. I'm not drinking. You know, because like I don't feel good drinking. I can't sleep. You know, like I like to be clean. Like if I want to do dirt, like have dirty food, I'll eat fried chicken. That's my bad food, right? But like, yeah, you know, I'll go get drunk on fried chicken, but I'm not gonna touch the liquor. You know, so yeah. So I don't know what I said just like helps out at all or makes sense.
No, that totally does. I think it's cool though. As I'm listening to you, you just like cut down on play energy, and your sleep energy, you know, went up too at the same time. Like that's something. Okay, so here I am. Like I have an NI concept that I really like.
Yeah.
On, but I see it in what you just said, which is like I've been consciously trying to, rather than thinking like I need to go do sleep energy, here I go, just sit in a chair. Like I don't know how to do that, but I've been trying to cut down on the amount of play that I allow into my life. Yeah. And the sleep energy fills it up. It is what it feels like to me.
Well, even when I drive, I don't listen to music, right? I just like process my thoughts now, because I've been really. I think I discovered my sleep 2 years ago, because I took a year off to travel by myself around the world. So I've been to 82 countries now, right? So typical, you know, EP gathering stuff, gathering countries. But a lot of those times I was by myself, like solo traveling, and it was just me in my head, right? I took a lot of like 24-hour bus rides, 12-hour bus rides. Whoa! And when you're in those long bus rides, like you can only listen to music so long or read a book maybe. Usually you're just staring out the window. And eventually you get sucked back in your head. And then when you get sucked back in your head, like you now start, like for me at least, I start replaying my life, like SI, right? Like reflecting back into my life and kind of like using my FI to kind of see how I felt about each of those moments in my life. So I'm kind of like filtering each of the moments that happen. And at first I hated, I couldn't sit still, right? It was really bothering me. But like after a while, it felt like I was watching a movie, you know, like it no longer felt like it was hard. It felt like normal because I was forced to sit on those so many long bus rides that I got used to it, right? And now, like even when I came back to Canada, I still don't drive with music on. It's complete silence when I'm driving, and I'm just thinking about my life. Like, you know, it's really weird, and it's kind of like what you said. I wasn't aware that that's what I was doing. Like, I wasn't like purposely using play, but I was cutting down. I mean, I wasn't purposely using sleep, but I was cutting down on play, which sleep fills up.
Yeah.
Yeah, sleep and consume fills it up. So, um, that's a good one actually. Thanks for that. But but yeah, that's kind of like, or it's not just like also cutting back on play, but picking activities that doesn't drain my energy. You know,
Yeah.
it's like part of using sleep is preserving energy, right? So it doesn't mean you don't do things, but you don't do things that drains you. You know.
Yeah.
You know, like, so you can still do stuff, but it's something that you enjoy. Like you enjoy stuff, right? So if there's something that you enjoy, you pick that. You convince you do whatever it takes. You manipulate your friends to go pick that as the best option. You're a double decider, so you have this power, right? So you can they won't even know that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that because I can kind of imagine in the car not listening to something. Like that's an amount of sleep energy I could do because you're still kind of being productive a little bit.
Yes, that's right. It's a trick. You're lying to yourself because because you feel like you're moving, so you're being productive. Now you almost like a permission to use sleep, right?
Yep.
That's exactly. Yeah. So that's the best time to practice it actually, is to drive and not listen to anything.
Yeah. See, I think that's what I do in my garden because gardens grow really slowly. So when I'm outside just like walking around and it's just quiet and I'm like snipping things off roses, that's when my sleep energy is happening. And it's felt like that wasn't okay for me to do something that's just so slow and relaxed. But now I'm starting to realize, no, it's not anything real telling me it's not okay. It's me telling me it's not okay.
Yeah.
Why don't I change it and just say it is now?
Well, so, it's like when you go for your long distance run too, right? You're technically sleeping. Like even though you're expending energy, you're using sleep processing, really.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yep. My mind just goes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Melissa, thanks for doing the interview.
You're so welcome.
Well, I guess I'll talk to you in the Facebook groups or something.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. I'm hitting the stop.